Hi everyone, welcome to the Piano Keys. I'm so glad that you're here. It's been like 3 months since I made a video. Sorry to have been away. I've been really busy with performing and music directing and teaching and writing and that's about it. But I have not had a day off in months, literally. While I've been doing a lot of playing, I have not been practicing for myself. So the difference between that is if I'm practicing for a show or for something like that, then I'm working on a particular set of songs or whatever, and I may not be working on my technique. By the way, you always have to work on technique no matter what. I mean, even if you've been playing your whole life like I have, it's the same as exercising. You might be like, I don't know, an Olympic gymnast, but if you don't work out for 3 months, or you barely work out for 3 months, you're not gonna be in the best shape of your life, right? So I decided to start practicing again, yay. So here's what happened. A bunch of you have been asking me to do a tutorial for the Moonlight Sonata third movement, which is a really challenging piece, technically, musically, and everything. So I can make a tutorial. Actually, it would have to be like several tutorials because it's pretty long and very detailed. But if you don't have the technical ability, meaning years and years of really intensive study at the piano and the musicianship, even if I show you what to play, you won't be able to play it. So for me to make tutorials would be a huge investment of time for really no benefit to anybody, because if you can play it from my showing you how to do that, then you don't need me. Then you already know how to read music and how to do the technique, if that makes any sense. So if you're good enough to be able to play it technically, you don't need me to show you the notes. Now you might need a teacher to help you, I don't know, like kind of work your way around the technical aspects of it and the musical aspects of it, but it takes years of study to be able to play this piece. So that was one thing. The other thing is that people are always telling me that they don't think I have to practice because I already know how to play piano, and they don't realize how much I do practice to be able to still keep playing the piano. And every once in a while I have a student who will sign up for piano lessons, and after about 2 months they'll just quit because they don't think they're as good as they should be by 2 months. And they barely practice, and they feel like it should just come naturally because I show them what to do, they should be able to do it. It just doesn't work like that. Come on, guys. It's a very difficult thing to play the piano, and it takes lots of work. So all that is leading up to why I made this video. I wanted to show you how I practice. You're literally looking over my shoulder. I haven't edited anything out except a couple of times the phone stopped working. I don't know why. And so I cut out like those parts and put them together. But other than that, you're literally seeing how I practice. It might be really boring to watch because there's a lot of repetition, but I explain out loud what I'm doing and why I'm doing it so that you can kind of see what it takes to learn a piece. It's a really long video. Again, it's not exciting, but you know, practicing isn't exciting most of the time, but that's what it takes. Take a look at this video. Let me know if you want me to make more of these. I can. I mean, I'm practicing anyway. I can just turn on the phone and let it record and then upload it. It takes very little editing time. So I can just keep showing you how I'm practicing. If you don't like it, then just, don't watch. But also, just let me know, like, oh wow, this is really boring. Don't make any more of these. That's fine. I can take it. The other thing is, if you, okay, so I need to get a camera, and I've been researching for like a year, and I'll decide like, okay, today's the day. I'm going to figure out which one to get, and then I'll go on the internet, and an hour later, I'm overwhelmed with how much information I've gotten, and I just kind of close my browser and go on with my day because I really don't know. So if you know of a good video camera that is well under $1,000, because come on, I don't want to spend $1 million on this. Okay, 1,000 and a million, not the same, but you know what I mean. So if you know of a good camera to use, let me know in the comments section. All right, if you're ready to watch me practice the third movement, or part of the third movement of Moonlight Sonata, then keep watching. So first things first, I always have a pencil nearby with an eraser. This is a bad eraser, but I like to use this one because it erases cleanly. And the reason I have a pencil is because if I come to a section of the piece where I have to make a decision on anything like fingering, or which hand is going to take a particular note, or if I'm going to leave something out because my hands just can't handle it, then I make a note immediately, and I do it in pencil so that I can change my mind. But because I put in my decision, I write it in, I don't have to figure it out every time I come to that section. So it saves me a lot of time. Now, because I'm not practicing this piece for any purpose other than for my own pleasure, I guess you could say, yes, I do practice for pleasure, because remember, practicing is basically just playing with a particular goal in mind. So since I don't have another purpose, I don't know how much of this I'm going to practice today. If I were practicing for a show or a recording or something else that had a deadline, then I would have a different approach. I'd probably think about how long I have until the deadline, how hard the piece is, are there certain sections that really I need to practice and others I can just sight read, stuff like that. But that's not happening here. So in this book that I have, the third movement of the Moonlight Sonata takes up 10 pages. So, I'll just keep going until I feel like I'm done. I have played this piece before. I studied it in depth when I was 13, I think. It was a really long time ago. Since then, I might have played it a handful of times here and there over the years just for fun. So I do know the piece, if you want to say I know it, but I don't have it in muscle memory. I don't remember, any shortcuts I took or anything like that. So I'm going to learn it almost like it's a brand new piece for me. And when I do that, especially with something that is this, physically challenging, definitely do hands separately first, because that saves me a lot of time. So I'll mostly just practice, and then you can watch what I'm doing, and I'll once in a while explain what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to start with the left hand, and I see that there's fingering written in here, and it says 5-2, 5-2, which makes sense. If you're going to go on the second measure, you go to an octave. Let me change the lighting here a little bit so you can see better. Sorry about that. All right. So I might do 5-2, I might do 5-1, and then switch to 5-2. I think I'd rather do that because it feels better to my hand. So I'm going to take my pencil, cross out the 2 here, write a 1, and then right before I go to the octave, that G sharp, I'm going to do a 2. And I'm going to use my metronome because that actually saves a lot of time also. So here's a metronome that one of my students gave me. Thank you, Marco. I can also use the app that's on my phone, but I'm recording with my phone, so this is very helpful. So I'm playing eighth notes now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Had a pattern going, and I didn't write in the fingering for all of them because now I know what I'm doing. From here, the pattern changes, so I'm going to take a look without the metronome to see if there's, anything, to see if there's anything that I need to watch out for. So now I'm measure 9 if you have the music. By the way, if you don't have the music, this is in public domain. You can just download it from a bunch of different places. So here's G sharp, measure 9, and then my fingering that's written in here, which is a really good addition, and normally the fingerings are right on, but who knows, it might not work for me, so let me see what's going on. reach there because I have really small hands, but I can manage it. So, and I just want to point out that even after you've been a professional musician most of your life, you're still gonna come upon places that are challenging, and this is one of them. So, and I'm saying that because so often people tell me, "Oh, you're good. You know, you can play anything." Well, yes and no. I mean, I can play anything, but not on first sight, because if it's really challenging, I have to practice too. All right. So this fingering does work for me. I'm gonna put on the last note of measure 9. I'm gonna put a 3. I'm using third finger to remind myself. All right. And then it repeats. Pretty much the same. Then the fingering is, okay, so let's see. I don't like that fingering. I don't like using 1 and 4, so I prefer this. So I'm starting with 1 and 5, like the book says. Then I go to 2 and 5. The book tells me 2 and 4. To me, that does not feel good. I'm going to do 2 and 5, and then 3 and 5, instead of 1 and 4 like the book says. So that works better for me. Now, to practice with the metronome. So even though you saw me play it pretty fast, that was just to kind of get my bearings. I do still go slower with the metronome because I want to be very methodical and make sure that my muscles are learning their movements properly. A better fingering. I was just using 1, but now I see that I can actually reach 2 over and it feels better, so I'm going to write it in. This is in measure 10 on beat 3. And then I also noticed that when I was doing measure 11, which is kind of the same as measure 9, I had to think about the fingering, so I'm going to write it in the same as measure 9 so I don't have to think about it. It's not cheating, by the way. The point of playing the piano is not to make it hard. The point is to play the music that you want to play at the best level that you can, right? So any help I can give myself along the way is great. Here I go. I'm going to do it again, measure 9. But I don't have fingering written in on measure 12, so I had to stop and kind of think. Not stop, it was like a split-second pause in my brain. So I'm going to just go ahead and write it in because I don't want to have that pause. 1, 1, 2, 1. Alrighty. Now I can see going forward, I don't need to repeat that, I got it. Measure 15 looks a whole lot like measure 1. So I'm going to play it with the metronome and I'm going to stop where I feel like something different is happening. So I was doing 5, 2, I'm going to do 5, 1. Now we have something so different happening than what we did before. And I have a fingering that's written in, so I'm going to stop and figure out if that fingering works for me. Let me move this over here. I'm playing fast to see if something works playing fast, because it might work going slow and then you practice it that way, and then when you get to a faster speed you realize, oh, that actually doesn't work, and now you've wasted a whole bunch of time. So I do like what the book is telling me. It's 1, 3, 2. Then I'm going to do 3, 1. So I'm practicing going from here to the octave And let's see what happens on the next page. Ooh, it's a long. So this is a really low note. It's below the bass staff. 1, 2, 3 on the fourth ledger line. But I do know that this note is up an octave from there, so it's F double sharp. For those of you who like to tell me when I'm wrong, yes, double sharps exist, and yes, we use them for spelling reasons. If you want to know more about, you know, the stuff that makes music work, kind of like the skeleton behind what you're seeing, then you should really consider taking my piano bootcamp courses. It's fun to play pieces, but it's really fun when you know what's going on. So, all right, end of that. So I know that that's F double sharp, which is the same as G. And the book is telling me to go to 2 because it's thinking that it's easier for me to find it with the second finger. But I think for me, first finger works better. So I'm going to change that. I can do 5 and 1, and I'm going to do that. So I'm writing in the 5. Okay. I'm going to take a drink of water. I woke up not too long ago, so I still have my morning voice. Alrighty. That works. And then we're going to our Alberti bass. If you've done any of my Mozart tutorials, you know about Alberti bass. So the book is telling me to use 4th finger. Let's see. So there's not really much difference between using 4 or 5. I'm going to go ahead and use 4 on measure 22, even though the book is telling me 5. And then this is going to be 4 and then back to 5, I think. Yeah, that feels better. And so on. Okay, so here I'm seeing that I'm on measure 29 right now, that I'm getting to the end of this section, but things are happening here that I need to stop and figure out fingering wise. So I'm coming from measure 27, and then I go here, starting on measure 28, and then 29, if you're following along. If you're not, you know, don't worry about it. Book is telling me 2. I don't like that. I'm going to use 3. I'm on measure 30 right now. I don't know why it keeps telling me to use finger 4. If I were practicing for strength of finger 4, I would go ahead and use that. But I'm not right now. My 4th finger is pretty strong already. And if I need to use it, I can. But I don't think I need to use it here. Looking at measure 30, 31, 32. There's a lot of 4s written in my book that are from the publisher, or the editor, sorry. That one I actually do like, but I'm going to use 3 instead of 2 on the E. And then 5 works better for me here. Of variations in fingering, and there's not really one that's the right one. Trying to think ahead to when I'm playing really fast. I'm just going to go ahead and write a 5 there. I can change it later if I want. And then at measure 33, I see a natural starting point, a stopping point. Hi, I'm awake. Stopping point. And I'm going to stop at measure 33. So now that I've worked out fingering wise what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my metronome and start at measure 9. measure 21. While I'm doing this, I have to keep my arm really relaxed, especially my wrist, because if I don't, it's impossible to play this fast and this long. Oops. The reason that happened is because I saw finger 2 and I was playing 3 and my brain had to like go back and figure it out. So my fingers lost their direction. Okay, so that happens. Now, I'm going to take it from, that's going to be my stopping point for today. I've already decided. I'm going to go from the beginning and do this whole section with the beat on the 8th note. And I'm going to put my beat at 130. So I think that's a good, slow enough to start, but not so slow that I'm going to be wasting my time being, just going slower than I need. Okay? Miles is barking at the door. He wants to come in. But I'm not stopping my practice for him, so he's gonna have to wait. Coming, Miles. Okay, Miles, we got it. Go let in the dog. Okay, I'm back. Miles is here. Elvis is snoring. Everything is right with the world. So that's a pretty good start at 1:30. I'm gonna go to like 1:45. Actually, I'll go to 1:50 and do that whole thing again. It's very methodical. There's no like magic formula, even if you've been doing it your whole life, like I have. it's going to be challenging when I'm going fast. So I'm going to prepare by practicing and lifting my wrist before I need to be there. So I'm like preparing ahead of time. If I weren't, it would look like this. And then I'd have to move, which isn't the greatest way to play this. So, sorry. So I'm now experimenting to see how early I need to start preparing for that move. Basically very, very late in the game. Because if I prepare too early, then I'm having trouble reaching this note. And by prepare, I mean that my wrist is starting to move to my new location. That's pretty good. I'm going to go faster. If this is boring for you, that's fine. But this is what practicing is like. So when people tell me, well, I tried it and it was too hard. Sorry, trying isn't the same as practicing. So yes, it will always be too hard for you. Sorry to put it so bluntly, but it's not trying, okay? It's work. All right. Which, by the way, let me just say this. When people say, oh, you're so talented, I know they're complimenting, but really it's a little bit of a discounting of how much work has gone into acquiring this skill. So yes, talent, it helps a lot, but without work, it's useless, okay? All right, I'm done. Okay, I'm gonna play now. Faster still. All right, here we go. Remembered to prepare and it felt a lot better. I'm going to stop the left hand there. Now I'm going to take a look at the right hand. So the right hand is a series of arpeggios. Arpeggios are when you break up a chord. Arpeggio coming from the word like harp, you know, that thing that you play. So it's played in a harp-like manner, I guess you could say. If you don't think that's correct, that's all right. Okay, so I can see that for now, at least, every measure has a certain kind of chord. And the first measure has the chord C sharp minor. So what I'm going to do is play it as though they are blocked chords, because I'm teaching my hand the position that it needs to be in for each arpeggio. So I'm kind of like teaching it to plan ahead. Okay? So I'm playing the first 4 notes all together, then the next 4. Before I do, yeah, I just want to make sure of my fingering. So I don't want to practice a fingering that's going to be wrong, and I just realize that it's all going to be 3rd finger. Okay, so here we go. I think I did that wrong. Let me do it again. First 4 notes. Yes, it's okay to make mistakes. It's really good to make mistakes if you're going to learn from them. If you make mistakes and you don't even know you're making mistakes, you need help. You need a teacher. So in my book, it's telling me to play this with fourth finger. That does not feel good to me at all. It's probably because my hands are small, but I'm gonna put third finger. Also, when this piece was written, the modern piano didn't even exist. So the piano that Beethoven played on was not this instrument. And it had lighter keys, and I think they were smaller too. So it might have felt good on that piano to do fourth finger, but on our piano, with my hand size, it does not feel good. Now I'm going to move on to measure 3, and I can see that it's a G sharp major triad. So I'm going to play the first 4 notes again together. Then the next 4. Next 4. These are inversions of the chord. If you know what that means, great. If you don't, I'll be talking about those in another boot camp. Then the next one is C sharp major. And again, I'm practicing blocked. Then we have F sharp minor. Then we have C sharp diminished. And then we end there. And that's a natural stopping point because now I'm going to do that sort of thing, right? So different pattern. So now that I know what chords I'm playing, I'm going to go back to my metronome. And that's too fast to start. I mean, I can play it, but again, I want to build up good physical movements for my muscles to follow. So I'm going to go to 120, and that's going to be my 8th note. That's part of the practice process. What I was going to say something. Oh, I'm ignoring dynamics completely right now. Dynamics are like how loud or how soft you play, because I'm just literally like learning physical motions, and I want to play with a nice heavy arm so that my fingers really learn their places. Later on, not that much later, but later, soon, I'm going to add dynamics. So I'm going to do that one more time because it felt good, but I think I could do better. Well, at some point back there, my phone stopped recording and didn't alert me in any way. So I'm not really sure how much you missed. And so when I discovered that the phone had stopped recording, I went to the gym and I worked out really hard for like an hour to get my frustration out. I need to get a camera, but the problem is I do some research and then I get overwhelmed with all the choices and then I just kind of forget about it for a while. So if any of you know of a good like video recording camera that's not crazy expensive, let me know in the comments. So again, I'm not sure where we left off, and normally I wouldn't go to the gym in the middle of a practice session. I'm just gonna pick up where I remember leaving off for me. So here we are. That's life. That happens. I'm gonna take it from measure 15 and whoop, this fly is still in here, and and practice the right hand with the metronome. So I left off at 160 for the 8th note, and let's see how much my hand remembers between then and going to the gym and now. Okay, it feels pretty good. I also just made a salad, so my hands are like, okay, I'm gonna stop explaining. that was pretty good, but because I'm coming back to it after several hours off, I'm going to go one more time, but a little bit slower from the same place, from measure 15. Oops, I'm going to do that again. Okay, not bad. Have to warm up my fingers again. So now I'm going to take it from the beginning at 150 and put all this together. So basically what I'm doing is taking small sections and drilling them so that my muscles remember the motions. Then I'm putting the sections together so that I can do the whole thing without having to stop, if that makes sense. I'm building up my, what do you call it? What's the word? Building up my endurance, that's what it is. Try that again, okay. So here again, I had an issue with fingering. What am I doing? I guess those are ones. So I'm going to take that again from the beginning. I'm wondering now if I should use 3 or 2 there. I'm going to use 2. 3 is too much of a stretch, so on that one. Good enough for now. So now I have something different happening here, like a melody that has longer notes in it. So I'm just going to play it through one time and see if there's anything I need to think about before I practice with the metronome. Have to make some fingering decisions. So I'm going to use 4 there. Octaves can be tricky for me again because my hands are so small, so I really have to think about how I'm going to handle them so that I'm as accurate as possible. So let me try that again. That's going to be a 5 there. Goes from 4 to 5. Okay. So that one is also going to be 4 there. And a 4 here. Now remember when I played this as a kid, this was difficult because it is difficult. Basically it's an octave with a trill on top. Ooh. And right now I'm going pretty slow, so it's not as difficult, but let's see if I can do a better job of it as an adult than I did years ago. So I'm going to play the octave with 1 and 4. Then I'm doing the trill with 5 and 3. 5 and 3. Then, okay, that'll work. And now we have that horrible thing again. Ugh, that does not work. I'm going to do 1 and 5 there. And then I'll do the trill with 4 and 3. Okay, so I kind of see what's happening here. Now I'm going to slow down my metronome quite a bit to 130 for the 8th note. And I'm going to do that section starting at measure 21. Let me try that again. Do I want a second finger? Yes, I do. Okay. 1 and 3 and... So it's telling me 3rd finger, but I'm thinking maybe 4 instead. Yeah, I'm going to do 4, I think. I might change my mind. For now, it's good. Back to 21. So how am I going to split that up? 1 and... I might just do that. 4 and then finish it off there. Alright, so that was a little messy. I was just kind of getting to know the territory. I'm going to do it again at the same tempo. Octaves again. That was much better. really, really out of tune, and you can hear it in those octaves. So for those of you who have really good ears, sorry about that. Measure 21, here we go. Now I'm at 140. Try it again. Now I'm going to really think about those octaves so that they're accurate. Okay, so I'm definitely getting better, but it's not ready to go faster. So I'm going to do that again from measure 21. Now I'm experimenting with fingering. They're both good and bad, depending on how you look at it. Okay, one more time at this tempo, I think, and then we'll have it. That was not good. I don't know if that finger's gonna actually work. It's gonna work, but I have to be very careful not to run into that F sharp. It's good enough for now. I'm gonna go to 150 and just really think about that part when I get to it so that it's accurate. Here we go. Sorry about that. Miles, we got it. Ha! I'm going to blame that one on the dog. Going into it. There we go. Alright, let's try it at 160, hopefully. Quiet! This is my life. Here we go. At 160. and then ended on that chord. That was really good. So now I'm going to take it from the beginning, just the right hand at 160. I think, and that's where I'm going to leave it today. So I'm not putting the hands together because I think that I need another practice session going faster than this, much faster than this, hands separately, and then I can, trust my hands, I guess is the way to say it, to know what they're doing, and then I can slow it down and start putting the hands together. That was it. If you're still with me, then congratulations. It's not exciting, I know. And also, I wouldn't go to the gym in the middle of a practice session, but I did because I was just like, so frustrated, and there was a class I wanted to take. So anyway, let me know if you want more of these. If not, that's cool. I'm going to make tutorials, of course, but I'll also be able to put these up if you get any benefit from them. Okay, so keep practicing, have fun, and I will see you soon. Bye.